So, welcome to a podcast called One Day at a Time. And we are doing an unedited version. When I say unedited, I guess I mean, kind of want it to be what I call raw
Yeah.
material, talk, information.
Real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Real life stuff where I don't know, you talk about you talk about things without editing out words that, maybe you said too much or you didn't mean to say or things, whatever.
Or you knock the microphone over or something.
Whatever. We're just going to roll with it.
Yeah.
Like that. So the podcast is titled One Day at a Time. No, I think that probably everybody has a different definition, version, thought, whatever, about what one day at a time really means. You know what I mean? I'm sure your definition is different from mine. For me, one day at a time, I'm retired now, 55 years old, still business for 28 years, working shift work. You can imagine what all goes along with that, right?
Right.
Lots of stuff. Miss out on lots of stuff in life.
Right.
So I decided to, hey, look here, I'm going to retire early. Well, not early.
Well, not necessarily early. Yeah.
28 years is a long time.
Yeah.
To be in, to work for one company.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think so.
Oh, it is.
So that being said, I think there's probably, like I said, a lot of people out there that can relate. Probably a lot of people out there that are wondering if they can do it, if they should do it. Maybe even some wondering after they've done it why they did it.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's kind of what this podcast is about, and the premise of it. So, anyways, I'm kind of curious as to, I know what my definition of it is, but I'm curious of what maybe your definition of, what one day at a time looks like for you. And you're not retired.
I'm not retired.
Right? You're a little older than me, but we're not really. I'm just kidding. But you're not retired yet. You're not really thinking about it. Still got a while. You love your job.
I do love my job.
So, so what does one day at a time look like for you? And then I kind of want to talk about, what a little deeper in definition of what it is for me.
Well, I mean, as a kindergarten teacher or a teacher in any class, it truly is just, you have to say one day at a time, but it's just surviving each day. I mean, it's not
because of the age of the kids, or
yeah,
okay,
yeah. Because I've done high school, I've done middle school, and it's different with each age level, but it is truly just getting through each day. Because you can have all the plans you want, you can have everything set up, and hey, that my day is going to go like this.
Yeah.
But it never happens. Yeah. You have to be so flexible.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Something changes every day.
It does.
It's how you deal with it, I guess.
That's right. So it's just getting through each day.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's very challenging.
It would be challenging for me. Kindergarten, what age is that?
5, 6.
5, 6. Gosh, I can remember. No, I can't remember when I was 5 or 6, just really, but I know I was ahead of you.
Oh, I can remember.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, maybe I put it out of my mind.
Really. I just think the expectations that we have on our kids today is what causes so many behavior problems, and it causes teacher stress and things like that, because the expectations that are put on the kids these days is not like it was when we were in school.
Shoot. Oh, man, I can't imagine. I know when my kids were in school, the amount of homework they brought home. I'll say they brought home what they did.
Right.
I wasn't a great steward of doing homework.
Yeah.
And that's probably because my dad didn't ever check up on me and my homework.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you probably did. I mean, I don't remember having homework.
Well, I didn't have
I didn't have a fluency folder or a reading log or something I had to keep up with. We didn't do that stuff. Oh, yeah. We went to school. We had a good time. We came home. We had a good time. I mean,
so one day at a time is you making it through your kindergarten class, and probably feeling successful about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I get my adult time with my kindergarten teacher, so I enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, you live vicariously through them somewhat.
Yes, they are. I'm the granny of the group. It's okay. Well, I am.
You're the older one of the group for sure.
That's right.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's okay.
But so yeah, one day at a time. You being successful in your job and
Mm-hmm.
surviving
Yeah.
that job day to day, because there's a lot of influence when it comes to these kids. Parent influence,
Oh, yeah.
which I know a lot of grandparents take care of their children
Mm-hmm.
now, or their grandchildren right
Yeah.
today. So I'm sure you see a lot of that, but it's different than when I was
Yeah.
that age, or when we were that age, I should say.
It's mentally and physically like draining some days.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I use the term surviving. I shouldn't probably use that, but it's just getting through each day today.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can have my whole week planned out, but that's not how it usually goes.
And that's funny you say that. You're talking about the challenges every day.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I worked with adults and it was challenging. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a different,
It's
just a severity of each. Like I have children, you have adults, so
Yeah.
you're still doing the same. You're still putting out fires.
Yeah, I used to tell somebody asked me a question one time about my career or whatever, and sometimes I would say it's like dealing with adult children.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, it's just people.
It's people.
Yeah, it's just people.
Yeah.
And when you work with a different, a lot of different backgrounds, which is great and fun, man, I enjoyed it. I really did. I really enjoyed the people side of the job that I was
Right.
doing. I was a supervisor, so I got to talk to everybody's different. So you have to learn how, just like you do, probably with your
Right.
children. You got to learn how to talk to them each individually.
That's
So you're
right.
trying to get them to go this one direction.
But you got to do it in so many different ways.
Same, so
That's
you
right.
got to treat everybody differently. But that was the part I enjoyed about my job. I really enjoyed it.
So that's probably the part you're missing the most is the camaraderie,
That is exactly what I miss the most. Man, I loved hanging out with those guys. I liked seeing them every day. I liked cutting up with them. I liked when we had challenging things to do. We worked as a group, as a crew, as a team. Oh, I love that stuff.
Right.
It's all the other that came with it.
Right.
When it comes to the upper management involvement. And the company I work for is huge in safety, and it's making sure we're safe every day and nobody's getting hurt and all these things.
Right.
I really love the people on the two crews that I got to be part of, and that's really people are like, well, oh, you're a supervisor, you're in charge of a crew. That's not how I ever viewed it. I always viewed it as I got the opportunity to work with this group of people,
Mm-hmm.
guys and gals.
Right.
We had women out there too, so I got the opportunity to work with them.
Right.
Not not them working for me.
Them not working under you. Y'all were a team.
I never viewed it that way ever.
Yeah.
And I think some people probably do. I just wasn't one of them. And I was just one of them.
Right.
That's how I viewed it. But so kind of one day at a time for me is now I'm going forward and my days aren't planned. I don't get up to go to work. You know what I mean? So how do I plan out those days, or what am I looking forward to, or what do what's happening tomorrow? What's happening the next day?
Right.
Because I have nothing on schedule.
And you've been on a schedule for 28 years.
I've been on the schedule for
or longer, but yeah.
Yeah, it longer.
Yeah.
Because I've worked, I even
Right.
worked as a kid and had a choice, But so yeah, one day at a time for me is just making through this day to day as a retirement, or as a retiree. Because I do, like when my dad retired, I thought he was in a small town. But I thought, what in the world is he gonna do? I mean, he did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He did nothing with his time. And I look back on that, which I really enjoyed going home and visiting, like during hunting season and stuff.
Right.
But I thought, man, he has a routine as a retired person.
Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, I don't think it gives you, like, you feel like you don't have a purpose. Like if he didn't get up every morning and shower and put on the clean pressed clothes and go have breakfast with his cronies, that's right.
And harass the
waitresses and waiters, the servers. So if you didn't stay in that routine, it's almost like, what's my purpose?
So what are you saying? I need to find a routine?
I think you do.
I don't know if I can.
You almost have a routine though, because you do get up, you cook yourself breakfast, you go to the gym.
Yeah.
So then
And that's
after,
where it stops.
but that's fine. That's getting you up and getting you out of the house.
No, that's where it stops.
That's okay.
And there's where I'm hung up. I'm like, oh my
What do I
God.
do after this? But why do you
What
have
do I
to
do?
have something to do?
I don't know.
That's the thing about, I think if you have
It's a
that,
man thing, right?
I think so.
Yeah, man is like, hey, I gotta have some things that I need to be work projects.
Right.
And I do have projects. I just
And it may not necessarily be a man thing. It's just maybe a personality type thing. You're a personality
man, you're right. It is probably a personality.
because you're so used to going and doing.
I'm used to a little bit of structure.
Right. And now
Structure.
that's right.
Which is what I said when I retired. I said, I'm looking so forward to that. And now it's here.
Yeah.
And I know it'll take a little time. And, that's why I would like to hear what other people go through or do, or, so hopefully we'll pick up some good pieces of information or, from somebody else.
Right.
And see what, see how they do things, see how, what they were facing when they decided to retire. Because it's one thing I'm here to tell you. I've been talking about retiring all of 24.
Yeah. Oh, I would say, what is it? If we're in 25, I would say since 2020, because when COVID hit,
Yeah.
that's when we really started talking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
We were talking about the whole lake and being at the lake, and I want to, because I remember you said I want to retire in the next 2 to 3 years, or no, you said I want to retire in the next 5 years, and then 5 years came and went because you were like maybe at 50, and you were like, no, maybe 5 more years, and then it's like the closer it got to there, you're like, I'm almost there.
Yeah. It's funny because honestly, I had hard thinking about it in 24.
Right.
But at that time, I'd say early 24, I was along the lines of, I'm not working past 60.
Yeah.
I'm not working past 60. And then all of a sudden, I'm approaching the middle of 24, and I'm like, okay, maybe 58.
Yeah.
And then the way things progressed out at work and kind of how things were, going, I
Yeah.
just didn't really care for, just like you all do when
Right.
you work a job for 20 something years. I thought, man, there's some other guys that are my age that are going out.
I can do this.
And I really started, looking at Fidelity and really started looking at all these things that I guess all of us folks look at
Right.
before you make that decision. And I said, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it now.
Yeah.
And then, December of 24.
Well, when did you talk to the financial advisor? That's when I really knew you were serious about it. That was in spring of a year ago. A year ago?
No, probably back. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe July time frame. I started talking to him. Don't you think?
That was before the beach. That's the reason I was thinking it was around March, April.
Maybe so. But either way, I do. Yeah, I forgot about that. I started talking to him.
That's how I knew.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, well, what does really mean?
Yeah.
Well, what is really? Because I'm here to tell you, like most people do, when you've got 401ks and things like that, I really stuffed back for a lot of years. And yeah, and you're exactly right. When he looked at that, he was like, "You do whatever you want to do."
Yeah.
And
But that's how I knew you're serious.
Sure, I was still saying 58. And all 58 represented was 30 years in the business. What does that even mean?
But when you talk to him, you realize he was the one that told you those extra years, 55, 53 more years is really.
Well, there was some differences. When you get into your mid 60s is when
There's not much of a difference.
You should not really. People talk about working until 67 and it doesn't make sense.
Right.
When you start looking at what you're going to bring home versus what you would bring home at 62 and a half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's really, in my opinion, don't take this, don't, you better ask people questions, but there's really no reason to stay past 62 and a half.
Yeah.
Unless you just love working, which is okay too. There are some people out there who just absolutely love their job. And I work with some of those guys that weren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But for me, I looked at it and there were some guys my age going out, and I was like, man, I can do it. I can do it just like they have. And I thought, man, it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
Let these younger guys, our whole group had changed by then. Our
Right.
whole leadership group
Right.
had changed by then. And which is a great group of guys, but it was time to let the young guys in.
Yeah.
All of us old guys have been there too long, I guess. So, back to one day at a time. Now I'm looking at every day is one day.
That's right.
It's crazy because when I worked a shift work and I was off for a full 4 days, I felt like I ran out of stuff to do then sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Spend extra time in the gym or, just
mow the yard twice
if I had to.
in one day.
Yes. No kid, So that being said, I feel like there's a lot of people in the same area that I'm in my life right now that can probably, I don't know, would enjoy hearing or talking about or being involved with a podcast that
Yeah.
really it's for our age group type people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I would learn something from folks, and I think there's folks out there that could learn something from maybe the avenue that I took.
Right.
I don't know.
Because most people don't think you can retire at 55.
Oh, no.
Because if you think about it, if I think about my parents when they were 55, I mean, I had just had, I think, my second child, and I can imagine them being retired at that age.
Yeah.
No,
I agree 100%. But I tell you, what's crazy to me is, so when you work in a place like where I worked, in a plant,
environment.
Plant environment, everybody has different goals. You know what I mean? I knew some guys that were older than me that retired on less than I have,
Mm-hmm.
and guys, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
So and I was looking at, and it's not I ask questions. I never ask questions. You have never say that.
Right.
Retirement. I do that stuff. But once you get to know people, you listen to them long enough,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to throw it out there. And some of those guys were retiring on less than I had, and they were older than I was.
Right.
And I was thinking, man, if they can do it, surely I can,
And some of their wives didn't work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'm still working.
And it's, one person taking care of two type
That's right.
scenario. And I didn't really think about that, but yeah, you're 100% right. It's one person taking care of two. That's
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys out there, their wives didn't work. But anyways, I just think that it's a good time for me to retire, and I think that it's going to be interesting on what we do going forward because you're still working and I'm not, and I think we talked about it the other day, and you said 7 more years.
7 more years.
Yeah. I mean,
but that doesn't necessarily mean I'll be in the classroom. That's just 7 more years in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, I really want you to get
education,
admin or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere you make us some good money.
As an educator.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, educators can make good money too, right? I hate it that teachers don't make what. They don't make what they should.
It's not just teachers though. It's all education.
No, you're
it's all of education.
Once you get up in admin, you make a little more money up here.
Not for what they have to do though. That's what I'm saying. I know what kind of money you made as a supervisor. Well, I see my admin as supervisors. They don't come close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All I'm getting at is in the education world.
Yeah.
No one we know.
Yeah.
Admin is more money.
It is, but it is not, I hate to use the word equitable, but to what somebody should be making that is over 700 children.
Yeah.
And having to deal with the parents and all the teachers and the staff that, that doesn't even include the staff. So no, I don't think that they're paid.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anyone in education is paid what they're supposed to be. No. This is the future of our country.
Yeah.
When you start looking at these kids coming up through the system, that's the future of our country and what direction our country goes. I just think it would be important to pay teachers a better salary.
Yeah, I agree.
To get some people in that actually want to teach children.
Well, and until you are in it, you don't understand. Or until you're with somebody that's in it, you don't understand. Because before I worked in industry type work and I was out and got to see all the things that, you might do at your job.
Yeah.
So I didn't I mean, yeah, that was my first degree, but I did not go into it right out of the bat. So until I got deep into it, you don't understand.
No, I agree. Even though you're my wife and you teach, and I'm guessing
Yeah.
there's so much stuff I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand because I don't understand the system and how it works. But I will say, I'll go back to, I feel like teachers are underpaid for what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers are underpaid for what they put up with.
Yeah.
Teachers are underpaid for what they're supposed to be doing, which is teaching our children to run this country,
Mm-hmm.
to be
Productive
citizens.
adults.
Yeah, to be citizens of this country and be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And that's all we expect. That's all is expected of us.
That's right.
So, but it's interesting. I think retirement's interesting. I think the whole process of retiring is interesting. I told my brother, I have two brothers and a sister, and when I told them, they were like, "Oh my gosh," because I'm the youngest boy. My sister's the youngest, but I'm the youngest boy of the four, and they're like, "Oh my gosh,
Baby Thad."
yeah, baby Thad is
What?
retiring."
The first one?
Yeah, the first one to retire. I mean, and I would have never guessed it.
Mm-mm.
I thought honestly I would work for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, when I thought back a long time ago, man, I'll be working forever.
Yeah.
Just like our kids say right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I've got 40 more years. And I try to explain as everybody that's listening right now can imagine or know. They already know the answer to this, but time goes by.
Yeah. Fast.
Time goes by in a hurry. My dad used to say it. I never could grasp it because it took forever for me to become 16 years old to get my driver's license. Then it took forever for me to turn 21 so I could do some other fun things, or so I thought. Right.
Right.
But after that, after working life started and life just in general starts, oh my gosh, Katie bar the door because ain't no time for anything.
Well, I know my mom, I used to get so irritated because all my friends had their ears pierced.
Yeah.
And she'd say, when you turn 16, and I'd go, oh my gosh, that's forever. Here I am, 11, 12 years old. She goes, that's what you can do when you turn 16. And I was like, but everybody has it. And she's like, if I let you do that now, what are you going to have to look forward to when you're 16? Then when I turned 16, but then, I was limited on what I did with that.
Yeah.
But then it was like every time I wanted to do something, she's like, nope, got to wait till this age. Nope, got to wait till this age. Because she's like, if I let you do it all now, you won't have anything to look forward to.
There's probably a lot of truth in that.
So that's what I think about when I think about your retirement. And I'm like, don't try and get all those projects done in a month.
Yeah.
Because then you're not going to have anything else to look forward to. Think, God, I've got plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Yeah. I just feel like I put stuff off. But it's funny what you said there about your mother there. My youngest son always says, man, I want to be rich. I want to be rich. I think he wants to be one of those, what do they call them, where they get the mailbox money, where you just walk out there and say,
yeah, and it's in the mailbox.
Mailbox money.
Yeah.
He would like to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but win the lottery, I guess. But I said, son, you are rich.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, I want to be rich. I said, you are. I said, at the time, he was 23, 24. I said, you have more than most at your age.
Mm-hmm.
You have more than most and less than some.
Yeah.
And it's true because, he's got a great job.
That's right.
But I don't think people, and I know I didn't as a kid either, probably in some ways I had more than most, less than some.
Mm-hmm.
And is that rich? Or to me, it can be. What's your definition of rich, right?
And I don't think I put, like, when I was that age, I didn't look at things like that. I didn't look at who was rich I really don't like the term rich. Wealthy, maybe, who was wealthy and who was poor. Those are the two terms that I would use, but I never classified people.
Yes. It's, again, my oldest brother and I were talking one time, and when we were young,
mm-hmm.
It's like all the families were on the same playing field.
Yeah, it's like you didn't know any different.
Yeah, you didn't know any different. One's parents had money, the other one didn't.
That's right.
You had no idea.
That's right.
Because we were all played in the same
Mhm.
circles. We all did the same things. You know
Right.
what I mean? Whereas today, man, I can remember, matter of fact, when Ethan was, my youngest was
Mhm.
going, when I first took him to high school, he couldn't drive yet.
Yeah.
And I pulled in to drop him off in line. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, there was kids driving Mercedes,
Vehicles. Yeah.
trucks, Tahoes. You know, I was like,
I just wanted a car.
with my friend, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. We would swap up driving each week. Me and a friend of mine. She drove one week. I would drive the next. She would drive one week. We just wanted a car.
I actually enjoyed riding the bus. There's a group of us that stood out front of my house waiting on the bus in the mornings.
Yeah.
And then one of my buddies, when he got his vehicle, we rode with him some, but I mean, not all the time.
Right.
But I was just like, it's such a different time back then.
It is.
World. Now these kids are expecting these things, I guess.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I feel like we appreciated things a little more than.
Yeah.
But it's our fault. I mean, we've created the monsters.
Anyways, off subject a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know. Lots of changes, lots of things to think about, things to do, get myself ready for, everyday retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find myself sometimes, or I feel like, and maybe you think differently. I don't know. I feel like I put some things off already.
And that's fine.
Well, I told you, do you remember I told you when I said I'm retiring?
Yeah. I'm not going to do anything for 2 months. January and February, I'm not doing anything for 2 months.
I guess I got to get busy. But
well, we're waiting for the weather.
But I did. I said January. I said 2 full months. I'm not doing a thing.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Like I'm not even helping you. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry to say, I'm not even helping you out around the house, but I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you are.
And I haven't. I've not done any projects that I can think of. I've not done anything in 2 months. My buddies that I work with, like, have you done anything? I'm like, nope. I said, I told you I wasn't gonna.
I mean, you deserve it. You deserve to just be able to. I mean, if you want to go smoke you a cigar, if you want to, go to the gym twice a day like you've been doing.
I deserve to sleep in it.
That's right. That's right. You don't want to make the bed? Don't make the bed. I mean, it's your prerogative.
Yeah. So when I worked the last 5 years, the job that I had, the line that I was on for the last 5 years, alarm would go off every morning at 3:30 on my days working.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's tough.
I don't know. I don't wish that on anybody. Although people will go, oh man, it's just straight days.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4 on 4 off day shift only, but still 3:30 every morning.
No, because then that made me get up.
I'm telling you, it made me feel old.
Oh yeah.
I mean, honestly,
it will. It'll age you.
It's like on my days off, I was tired.
Mm-hmm.
It's like by the 4th day off, I'm regaining consciousness and I can do some things.
Yeah.
Maybe not to that extent, but still, I think you're right. I think it ages you, because I've noticed now that I've been home for 2 months, not working,
Mm-hmm.
for 2 months. I already feel better.
Mm-hmm.
My body feels better. I don't feel as ragged as I did, I
Mm-hmm.
guess you could call it. But it's interesting. So I am anxious to see how things progress as far as what I do in retirement.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to do some work. Like I got a little side business that I want to do some stuff with. So
yeah, we're gonna travel.
Yeah, do a little travel.
Go to the lake. Spend more time at the lake.
Be able to do that since you're off during the summers.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. Hoping this podcast reaches some folks and gives us some opportunity to talk about things on a weekly basis, or
give you some ideas.
Yeah, give me some ideas. I'd like to once to maybe start getting some viewers or something, you get some thoughts from them on their journey.
Yeah.
And compare my journey.
That's right.
Because I've always been curious about what other people
do with their time.
Yeah, with their time.
Yeah.
I was trying to hesitate to figure out how to say that. Not really what they do, per se, but I mean, I'm talking about what they do with their time.
Right.
What was their thought process behind when they started doing this,
Right.
or when they were thinking about doing this?
Right.
So I'm very curious because I love that kind of stuff. It's almost like watching these movies that are about real people or about their
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
That's the best ones.
Well, and it's just like that couple we ran into this weekend. He was planning on retiring. She was still working.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, I've been looking at it and I think we can both retire, because he wanted her to be there with him so they could travel together and things like that. So it's like his plan at the beginning was just him. But then as it got here, he said he changed his mind and said, hey, I want her to retire too.
Yeah. Are you trying to tell me something?
No.
Okay.
I can't stay at home with you right now.
I appreciate it. But I get it.
You're too busy.
Yeah.
You're too busy for a retired person right now.
Yeah. I'm not that busy. Also, although I will say my days go by super fast now. I wish my work days would have went by. My 12-hour shifts would have went by like
this fast. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I wake up, I cook me some breakfast, I go to the gym, get me a shower, go to the gym, and then it's like, man, Aunt Christine's going to be home here for long. What am I going to do?
Exactly.
And if I turn that TV on and hit some YouTube, then it's over with.
Yeah.
And then I'm on the couch,
Yep.
So I'm trying to steer clear from that. But I will tell you, if the sun comes out like it has, man, it makes me want to do all kinds.
Oh, and you won't be inside.
No, I'm not an inside person. I make jokes about that or kid about it a little bit, but there's no possible way I could lay up on the couch every day and not do something that's. I don't care if it's sweep out the garage 2 or 3 times, but something.
Go right around.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something.
Right.
Can't go too crazy, or like you say, I'll go up twice to the gym in one day. I have to.
Well, that's what you've been doing.
Yeah, everything but cook supper. Everything but supper waiting on you when you get home.
Yeah, that would be nice. But I'm not going to complain.
Good, not yet. Anyway.
Not yet.
Well, you have a few times, but that's all. I took it in stride. Yeah, no, I took it under advisement.
There you go.
So, anyways, your thoughts on what you think we might or would or want to see out of this podcast?
Well, like I said, I would like to see what other people do, especially the men. The women, I don't know. I feel like that we, can find little things to do, like shopping. I mean, getting together with our girlfriends, cleaning the house, just our typical, because you could really clean one room of your house each week and then start over. And that could just be something you do. I mean, you could wash clothes. You could, there's so much stuff that can be done. I would definitely sleep in later if it was me.
Well, it's funny. You just said something. You said hang out with the girls.
Yeah.
And I don't have that luxury.
Because everybody's still working.
Well, okay, a couple of things. Even when I was working shift, we all worked shift, and the only people you hung out with were the ones that were working the same
shift. Yeah.
You were, so they were off the same time you were.
Right.
So that's all you had to hang out with.
Yeah.
And now, like you said, everybody's still working.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that do for me?
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe I'm looking out the window waiting on Aunt Christine to get home. How much she'd hurt get home?
Or you just, your youngest is off work a lot and you get to spend time.
You say that, but that's hard to nail down too.
I know.
But, it's funny. It's real funny because to me, back when I was younger, high school, college, I was, what do you call it? The ones that are outgoing, most extrovert.
Yeah.
I was an extrovert. And then all of a sudden life hits and the job you choose, which is shift work. And at the time was days and nights, Monday through Friday, 4 on 4 off days and nights. And the only people you can hang out with are people you work with. Now, all of a sudden, 28 years later, I think I'm an introvert.
You are. I mean, you have, but I'm slowly pulling it back out of you.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I get around a crowd, I don't mind talking to folks. But I've noticed that I can sure do a whole lot of things easier by myself because that's what I've done for 28 years.
Right.
28 years.
Where I need those people. I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to be around those people. I can't be by myself.
You're still an extrovert.
Yeah.
Right. So I find that that's challenging in itself. You know, you see these group of guys sitting down at the coffee shop in the mornings. How did that get started? One of them just sitting there one day and one of them show up. The next thing you know, two of them show up.
That's right.
You know, I mean, I don't,
You go in to get a biscuit and you're like, hey, I'm going to sit down with these guys and just start talking to them. I mean, you know,
I always thought they all knew each other, but maybe they really don't.
they may not.
Right when they started, maybe.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Dad's group was like 8 or 10 of them.
Oh,
You know,
my
they all
daddy's
knew each
group was the same way. They all knew each other too, but that's what I'm saying. I think it starts off with one or two, and there's like, hey, we're gonna start meeting up here for breakfast and at the liars table. So
Yeah. All right.
I think that's what you have to look forward to.
Yeah, that's what I had to look forward to. I'm not an influencer, so just like and subscribe if you can.
That's right.
Talk about some stuff in the
Comment below
Yep.
so we can get your insight